In today's video, I'm going to give you 4 steps to declutter and organize your pantry. I have felt overwhelmed in the past because of the mess and the disorganization. I would let food expire, there would be empty boxes all over the floor, and I had to move everything in order just to find something. After a lot of trial and error, and I mean a lot, I've done this many times, I have found a way that works really well for our family. It's not perfect, and it definitely doesn't stay organized and decluttered all the time, but I no longer feel really overwhelmed by it because I do keep up on decluttering and organizing it regularly, and today is one of those days. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first step is to remove the items and to clean off the shelves. I suggest that maybe you can do one at a time. I feel like when you empty out the entire thing, sometimes it can be really overwhelming. Sometimes you can have a big mess left because you had to stop and you weren't able to finish it. But I've definitely done it before where I take everything out, and that's usually when I want to reorganize everything and put things in different places. But today I'm just taking a shelf worth of item off, and then I'm going to clean off that shelf, organize the items, and put them back on the shelf. I like to work from the top to the bottom, and that's because when you wipe off the shelves, there's going to be a lot of crumbs and they're going to fall down. I don't want to have to re-wipe the shelves every time crumbs fall down. The second step I do is to declutter. I like to go through all the items and pick out anything that we haven't used for a long time or something that we didn't like. For example, I bought some lo mein noodles, some dry lo mein noodles before. I used them once and I haven't used the rest in a long time, and I don't see us using it in the near future, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw those away. Also, you want to check the expiration date. These beans expired a couple months ago. Now, I don't have like a hard rule on expiration dates. I will keep some of them still past their date because I know that, like it says Best By, they're not expired, they're just Best By that date. There are some that I will go ahead and toss, the ones that I don't use enough or that we just didn't like. So the third step is to group like items together. Now this is really helpful when you are decluttering your entire pantry at once. If you want to do it that way, you can put everything on your counters and you want to group them into your like items. For example, you would put pasta noodles together, snacks would go together, canned goods would go together, rice, and breakfast items. So I do keep most of my extra large items down in my food storage room, and I'm going to be going through that pretty soon, so stay tuned for that video. I do have a few things that I keep in here. On the top shelf, I have a big thing of baking soda, which I will refill into my smaller jar that is in my baking cupboard. Now I realize that everybody has different sized pantries. I feel like mine is kind of mid-size. I know there's lots that are way bigger and some that are definitely a lot smaller, but I hope that you find this video helpful even if you don't have a large pantry or a mid-sized pantry, even if you have a really small pantry. My goal is to give you motivation and inspiration. I do make videos just like this every week on decluttering, cleaning, organizing, and I absolutely love chatting with you in the comments. I always hear such positive remarks and it's fun to get to know you, and I'm so grateful that you're here today. Step number 4 would be to organize your items. After you've separated them into piles of like items, you're going to put them back on the shelves in an organized way. Now, a lot of people like to use bins and baskets to make it look really pretty. I do have some in there that I really like. It isn't necessarily to make it pretty, which I would like, but sometimes that just isn't functional or realistic. Some people I think also like to use bins to hide things so that it's not looking so cluttered. I actually like to be able to see the food in there so that I know what's in there and I don't forget. Although I don't like to leave the door open and see it all the time. So I love that I can just close the door and not see all of the food in there because it does look a little cluttered to me and sometimes will stress me out if the door is left open. When putting your food back into the pantry, you'll want to put the food that's going to expire the soonest at the front and work your way back. That way you're definitely using up the food that needs to be eaten first. I don't really like how my chips and big bags of snacks are organized right now, so I wanted to try something else. I got some bins from Target. I did get some white ones that would match some of the ones I already have in there, but I also wanted to try clear. I wanted to be able to see how much we had in there, so if we needed to buy any more. It also keeps it a lot cleaner and it's a lot easier to access. You can just take the whole bin down and get what you want and put it right back. So it is something that I know won't get forgotten because everybody loves to eat them. When you're organizing, it would be a good idea to put labels on each bin. For now, I just have these easy labels that just stick on. I know that one day I might want to invest in something a little bit better, but for now, these sticker labels are going to work just fine. I wanted to talk about a few things that are working really well for us. One is my potato basket. It has been an item that I have moved around in my pantry to different spaces and used it for different things, but this has been my favorite use for it where it is now. Another thing that's working really well for us is the recycling bin. We don't really have anywhere else to put it. I don't like it sitting out in my kitchen. It is a little bit of a pain. I guess it's sort of working well. I think the problem for us is that it just doesn't get taken out enough, so it gets full really fast and things start to overflow. So I'm just wondering maybe if you guys have a better solution for me or an idea. I don't know. It's working pretty well, but I would love to have another idea if anybody has one. I have really loved the turntables. Those have been kind of a game changer for me, especially in my pantry and also in my cupboard with my oils and baking goods. There's a few exceptions. The turntable that I keep breakfast items on hasn't been working super well. I actually really love that it's big and it's in a deep corner so that things don't get lost. But it hasn't been turning really well because the big bins will kind of hit the top of the shelf and won't spin very well, so I need to just reorganize that a little bit today. Another item that I have really loved is our school lunch bin. I decided to make this bin because I had kids who were eating a lot of the really expensive snacks often that I had intended to use for school lunches. What I ended up doing was putting all of the extras in our food storage room. I actually have a lock on that door as well because, you know, they were sneaking them. I liked that I was able to put a limit on how much they can have, and so each child has a bag and they have like their drink, their chips, their treat, those more expensive items that are going to go into their lunch, and then they can get their other main item and vegetables and fruit when they're packing their lunch. The wire shelving for the cans and the easy meals have been really useful to me as well. I have one that holds all the canned foods, and then I also have these two that stack on top of each other, and one of them keeps the like pasta meals and one of them keeps like taco shells. I also usually have the crunchy lo mein noodles in there that we use a lot for our Hawaiian haystacks. I have tried one of those can organizers where they drop down before. It just doesn't work in mine. So I really like how I use the wire racks in my pantry. Decanting my pasta and my large baking goods has been something that's worked really well for me as well. I can't fit every kind of pasta in the bins, so I do have a little one with some extras, but it's working well for us. I also have like my flour and my sugar and my brown sugar. All of those are in bins in my baking cabinet. I have also really liked this snack hanging shelf that goes over the door. It does need to be decluttered and rearranged, and I can see that I need to fill it up a little bit more. But I love that it's given me more space in my pantry because it was really cluttered before, and this has made it so that I don't have so much food inside the pantry. It's hanging on the door, which has been really useful. There are a few things that are not working very well in here. One of them is when I tried to decant cereal. I have these two cereal bins and I tried decanting them. But we go through a lot of different kinds of cereal, so it's hard to keep up. Even if I did go through the same cereal, I probably still wouldn't decant those. It's not really very pretty, but it is really functional and realistic for me as well. So this usually is full of cereal because we go through cereal quite a bit. Another thing that I really want to try and avoid is to keep stuff on the floor, except the recycling bin. So when I have stuff on the floor, it just collects dust and hair, and it's really gross, and I don't want any food down there. The other thing that isn't working really well is the rice turntable, like I talked about a little bit earlier. But I'm going to go ahead and try some organizers that I bought at Target to see if those will organize the rice a little bit better than the turntable did. I really like how everything has turned out today. I like the solution that I made with the rice and how it's not on the turntable anymore. I also really love the solution that I put in here for chips. I know that's going to work a lot better for us. I would love to hear if you need to organize your pantry or what other spaces you're looking forward to, or maybe even dreading decluttering and organizing. If you want to see more of my clutter-free in 2023 videos, check out the playlist right here. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you next time.